But anyway, if you move forward, entrepreneurs, I really see like entrepreneurs are people of faith. Now, they may or may not be people of religious faith, but I would say there's a big element, many of them are, and I think the people who are of religious faith can take an easier leap, if you will, a leap of faith in their entrepreneurial idea. But I would say that all entrepreneurs, regardless of their religious background or any kind of religious belief, they are people who literally take a leap of faith because they see something where other people don't, and a lot of times people think they're crazy. That's a crazy idea. Where are you going to come up with the money or the time, or who's going to buy that, or like nobody needs that. But they're like, no, I think there's a need, or I'm going to build a need. I'm going to find a need. Like Steve Jobs, like one day stood up and said everybody's going to need this phone, or going to want. Like, everybody wants to buy this phone. Nobody knew what a smartphone was until he told you how it was going to change your life, and it did. I know we could say good or bad, but it did change your life. But I mean, yeah, we probably wouldn't be doing a podcast from two different remote locations if it wasn't for people like, Steve Jobs and others that were able to create this type of technology that allows us to do this from almost anywhere. And then it just continues to build upon itself. Then, the cool thing with the Steve Jobs iPhone example is it's crazy to think the iPhone was only just the first version, which was very low compared to now, just came out in 2007. Like that wasn't that long ago, right?
No.
And then what was created because of the iPhone? The App Store. And if you think about, there are millions of apps now on the Apple Store, and then millions of different apps on the Google Play Store, and every one of those apps represents a company. So think about all the entrepreneurs that started. All they had to do was come up with one app that was successful to actually have a whole successful company. And just this one piece of device and enabled millions of apps to be created, and then from there a lot of other things were created. So it's really interesting, the innovation. But going back to the leap of faith, I mean, Steve Jobs saw something that most other people, almost nobody else saw, and he gave us that vision, and he was a heck of a salesman as well.
And you kind of answered a question I was going to ask, which was, do you need to have faith to be a successful entrepreneur? And then uh, on the flip side, others need to have faith in you in order for you to be successful. So faith is necessary either way.
Yeah, that's a good point. They do. But sometimes you have to, build that faith in them, right? But you're right. I mean, sometimes you need people to have faith in you, like let's say an investor, right? Or
Right.
even just a customer, right? And but look, that faith is they're only gonna have that faith if what you're selling them is something that you basically convince them they need. So you're gonna have to, maybe it's also like based on maybe who you are, like your character, and maybe the things you've done before, the kind of knowledge you have about the whatever you're selling. So yeah, you're kind of like, yeah, you're basically selling them to have faith in you. But I think it does start with the individual entrepreneur that has their own faith and believes it so much that
Right.
they're bringing along converts, I guess you could say, right?
Right. Yeah.